welcome to the deep dive. Today we are ripping into a genuinely complex and sometimes controversial stack of sources. We're talking articles, psychological research, transcripts, all focused on decoding these hidden psychological patterns and some very specific signals that women use in attraction.
This is a deep dive into the delta, isn't it? The gap.
The gap, exactly.
Our sources, they claim to show this stark difference between what people consciously say drives attraction.
Yeah.
You know, the usual things, values, respect.
The logical stuff.
The logical stuff. And then there's the powerful, often buried unconscious stuff.
Yeah.
Instincts, the biology, the temperament that really truly shapes desire.
Yeah, and that's the core paradox here. It's just inescapable. I mean, we're all taught that being consistently nice, available, agreeable, that's the path.
Right.
But these sources, they show again and again that those very behaviors can actually kill genuine attraction.
Well, the opposite does the trick.
Exactly. Things like being challenging or strategically unpredictable or even prioritizing your own purpose over the relationship itself. These are powerful, non-rational triggers.
And that's our mission for you, the listener. We're here to analyze these hidden factors, these secret kinks, and explicit signals that are often just masked by politeness. The goal, according to this material, is to give you a level of awareness most people just never develop, so you can stop guessing and start understanding the actual instinctive dynamics at play.
Okay, let's unpack this. We've organized the material into 4 phases. We're going to start with the unconscious triggers that bypass rational thought.
Then we'll move into how desire is secretly signaled.
Then explore the counterintuitive psychology of pursuit. And finally, look at this idea of continuous silent evaluation.
So we're beginning where attraction really starts.
Yeah.
The instinctive reactions. The sources are, absolutely unwavering on this.
That attraction isn't a choice.
Not a choice. It's an involuntary, instinctive reaction to certain demonstrated traits. And these reactions are often completely, divorced from the polished, rational version of attraction a woman might present to her friends or even to herself.
And the most universal trigger the sources detail is what they call the competence trigger. It sounds simple, but it's about so much more than just career success.
Right. The sources say that powerful attraction is triggered when a man is just observed.
Just watched.
Watched, handling his work, his hobbies, his environment, with this kind of effortless mastery.
Effortless is the key word there.
Yes. It's not about the struggle. It's not the long hours that attract. It's the quiet demonstration of inherent capability.
So it could be anything.
Anything. He could be a phenomenal cook, a master craftsman, or he could be commanding a board meeting. Mastery in any demanding domain signals overall capability.
Which, from an evolutionary perspective, is
high value. It signals resourcefulness, protection. The brain just reacts instinctively.
Okay, so the second trigger is where the conventional advice really, really fails. It's called the emotional challenge addiction.
This one is fascinating.
The sources state pretty emphatically that consistently agreeing with her or validating all her feelings, it just kills respect.
Because constant agreement signals weakness. I was struck by the quote that challenge is intoxicating. When a man challenges her thinking, questions her reasoning, or pushes back intellectually, not aggressively, but with confidence, it signals he has his own mind.
He's self-possessed.
He's self-possessed. If he's just mirroring her emotional state, deferring to her opinions, he just reads as weak. And that's the end of attraction.
This sounds fascinating, but also, exhausting. If a man is constantly challenging her, how do the sources say he avoids just becoming argumentative?
That's a crucial distinction. The material really emphasizes that the challenge has to come from a place of genuine, independent thought.
So not an emotional reaction?
Not at all. It's got to be reasoned, non-reactive. She's not attracted to drama. She's attracted to the strength of character that lets a man hold his own ground, even when it's uncomfortable.
And linking that strength to emotion, we get to the third trigger, intermittent reinforcement. This is pure behavioral psychology.
Absolutely. The sources argue that predictable, consistent availability creates a stable, but ultimately a low-level emotional response. Exactly.
So when we talk about intermittent reinforcement, it's not about manipulation.
No, it's straight operant conditioning. The mind treats varied availability or unpredictable emotional responses like a slot machine. The uncertainty of when that reward will come.
The warmth, the attention.
In response, yeah. It produces a massive spike in dopamine, far greater than you get with constant availability.
So the mental energy she invests in trying to figure him out, predict his response, or earn that warmth, That's what actually creates the deeper attachment.
And according to these sources, turns simple interest into, well, obsession.
So if we connect all this to the bigger picture,
It suggests the foundational attractors are pretty simple. Visible strength, shown through competence and leadership, and self-possession, shown through that independence of being unpredictable and willing to challenge. These are the things that just bypass the rational brain.
okay, so if we accept that attraction is instinctive, the next question has to be how those instincts translate into action. Let's talk about how this interest is actually communicated.
Because the sources are clear. Women signal desire with cues that maintain plausible deniability.
There always has to be an escape hatch.
Exactly. To protect against vulnerability if that interest is returned. So you have to look past the surface of the conversation.
Right.
We've identified 3 explicit verbal signals that often mean the opposite of what they seem to mean. First one is the alone time invitation.
Okay.
So if she says something like, I'm going to be home alone this weekend, or I'm so terrible at assembling furniture, or even, I can barely make pasta while inviting you over.
It's rarely about the pasta.
The sources insist it's never about the pasta. It's an invitation for private, intimate access.
Disguised as an innocent activity.
Yes, or needing assistance. The domestic incompetence is the perfect social shield. It allows for escalation while maintaining that deniability. Oh, I just need to open this box.
Okay, and a really critical signal the sources highlight is the comfort green light.
Yes. When a woman says, I feel so comfortable with you, or I really trust you, she is communicating that the main emotional barrier to physical intimacy
Is comfort danger.
that it's gone, it's been removed. This is not an invitation to talk about your childhood trauma. It's a signal.
It's a signal of readiness for physical escalation.
Right. And the sources caution men that if they hear this and respond by just talking about their feelings for 2 hours,
You're missing the transition.
and they risk getting shifted right into the friend category.
Then there's the vulnerability confession.
This is a form of emotional nakedness, as one source puts it.
Yeah.
Sharing deep, highly personal vulnerability past, feeling deeply safe late at night.
It's foreplay.
It's emotional foreplay. It builds that required intimacy and trust before the physical expression can feel safe and desired.
This is where it moves into the nonverbal stuff. The sources highlight the physical green light, where a woman will engineer coincidental encounters. She might suddenly just appear at your gym or your specific coffee shop or some social event she always avoided before.
This is strategic positioning. She's consciously putting herself in your physical space, creating opportunities for touch, for proximity, for escalation.
All while maintaining the safety of coincidence.
Exactly. If you ask her about it, she can just shrug and say, oh, I'm here every Tuesday.
Now, moving into the more primal aspects, the material dives into this secret kink they call the primal claim.
Yes, the desire to be physically marked and claimed.
So, visible evidence.
Visible evidence. A mark on the neck, a bruise on the shoulder. The sources explain this fulfills a possession desire.
It's a territorial marker.
A primal territorial marker. It communicates something in a language the body understands, confirming the strength and passion of the connection in a way words just can't.
It's an assertion of belonging. And finally, on the nonverbal side, we have the hungry gaze.
Yes.
The sources claim women are profoundly aroused by being looked at with raw, undisguised desire.
That look, where the eyes just move over her body with obvious, focused want. It's absolute validation of her desirability.
And when she registers that level of hunger,
Something primal response. It affirms her power in the exchange, and that sense of power is incredibly attractive.
which sets the stage perfectly for the psychology of pursuit.
Right.
If we look at this through the lens of behavioral economics applied to attraction, the core principle is, well, it's pretty stark.
It is. The person who invests more mentally, emotionally, physically becomes more attached. Period. Chasing or excessively investing sends a signal of lower value and almost always triggers withdrawal from the other person.
While being chased, or strategically withdrawing, forces the other person to invest, and that creates the attachment.
Which means reversing that pursuit dynamic requires specific high-value behaviors. The first is strategic absence and unpredictability.
So, intentionally slowing your presence down.
Or varying your response times, especially when her enthusiasm is at its peak.
When she senses that change in rhythm, that sudden scarcity.
Our mind starts turning. That mental preoccupation, that shift from low-effort certainty to high-focus uncertainty. That's the mechanism.
That's what turns simple interest into obsession.
And crucially, the sources strongly advise a focus on excellence. They call it the prize frame.
The claim is that men should be singularly focused on chasing excellence and purpose in their own lives, not women.
Right. Attractive women are seen as a byproduct of a valuable life, not the goal itself.
And this creates the prize frame.
Exactly. Acting like you are the prize means having standards, vetting her, seeing if she aligns with your purpose.
Instead of constantly auditioning for her approval.
And the sources argue this focus on your own identity, not external validation, is what organically makes a man pursue.
This dynamic seems particularly relevant to the analysis of the traits older men allegedly possess that get that attraction, especially from younger women.
It's rarely just about the age. It's the accumulated traits that age often brings. The first one is decisive leadership.
Making decisions confidently.
Choosing the venue, planning the interaction, leading without seeking constant permission.
And that decisive leadership allows her to relax into what the sources call feminine receptivity.
Right. The attraction comes because it removes the burden of constant decision-making, fulfilling this innate need to trust in competent guidance.
And the second advantage is emotional independence.
This self-sufficiency. The fact that these men don't need constant validation or connection or permission, it just reads as strength.
As completeness.
Yes, and that lack of neediness is what triggers the pursuit instinct. She wants to become essential to someone who clearly doesn't need anyone to feel whole.
All of this brings us to the most complex and maybe the most challenging concept in the material. This forbidden truth about the female psyche. The existence of a second operating system that never really shuts down.
The sources introduced the idea of continuous silent evaluation, or what one writer called the sentinel.
The sentinel.
And this system is rooted in the drive the sources call hypergamy, that perceived evolutionary impulse to seek a partner with the highest possible status or resources.
And the sources claim that even when she seems happy and connected, this cold, comparative, brutally honest calculator is running in the background.
Constantly.
She's observing your tone, your body language, your ability to handle pressure, and keeping a forensic file of every single micro moment of weakness.
Hey, we're talking about tiny things. Hesitating before a decision, complaining too much about a boss, displaying fear over a minor risk.
And the evaluation has to remain silent.
It must. If she verbalizes the test, you can just fake the strength.
Right.
She needs to test for organic, ingrained confidence.
The silent evaluation often culminates in the physical display, which the sources frame as the trap for the alpha.
This is where women use highly revealing clothing in public, sometimes accentuating features in a way that is just impossible to ignore.
And the motives are multiple, right?
The sources identify a few. Narcissistic supply, so feeding on the visible lust of men. A biological signal of high genetic quality. War with rivals by demonstrating desirability, and safe exhibitionism.
Releasing psychological tension within social boundaries.
Exactly. But crucially, the material argues this display acts as a ruthless test of male character.
The powerful bait of uncovered sexuality targets the reptilian brain, the oldest, most impulsive part of our psychology.
And a weak man fails this test spectacularly.
How does he fail?
He fails by visibly showing lust, losing control, embarrassment, awkwardness.
But why is showing lust a failure?
Because it proves he lacks the self-control necessary to lead or protect under pressure. It validates her need for that constant evaluation.
So how do the sources say a man should pass this test? They call it the King's strategy.
It's a two-step move that demonstrates supreme self-possession. Step one is notice and assess.
Look directly at what she's showing.
Yes, but with the cool, icy interest of a connoisseur, not with lust. Acknowledge the beauty, but without attachment.
And step two.
Shift gaze. Calmly, smoothly. Move your focus from her body straight back to her eyes. Maintain unwavering composure and immediately continue the conversation.
By doing this, you're shifting the interaction from the animal level,
Where the body is the focus.
to the human level of reason and conversation. You show that your mind rules your instincts, that you weren't distracted by the bait.
You're forcing her to play on the field of her intelligence and personality, not just her physicality. And that self-control is the ultimate signal. It confirms true, organic strength.
So what does this all mean? I think the essential learning from these pretty intense sources is that attraction is fundamentally governed by these paradoxical instincts.
Right. Responses that favor grounded presence, confidence, and decisive leadership over passive niceness and emotional availability.
And understanding these patterns isn't presented as a way to manipulate.
No, it's a path towards self-mastery. This knowledge helps a man stop guessing and start recognizing authentic signals, both the green lights of desire and the constant presence of the sentinel.
And develop the authentic confidence, which, the sources claim, is the only way these complex dynamics actually work. And here's a final provocative thought for you to mull over. If these sources are right, and a woman's hypergamous nature acts as a kind of performance monitor that never lets a man rest,
Constantly measuring his ascent and punishing his weakness.
is this constant hidden pressure actually nature's brutal incentive for excellence? Is it forcing men to continuously climb the mountain of self-improvement, not just for her, but for the inherent value that creates?
It's a challenging way to frame the necessity of continuous growth.
Indeed. We look forward to diving deeper with you next time.